Cancer, we are starting off this new moon cycle in Taurus. Are you ready to work with this rich, abundant energy that is being presented to us, Cancer? It's going to be a lit one. But before we get to, and stay tuned to figure out how we can work with these energies. But before we get into that, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions and likes and shares. Oh, your presence, Cancer, just takes the words right out of my mouth, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and know that whether this video found you or you found this video, that you are now synced up with the moon. Welcome to the Soul Tribe. And also that this channel, or the purpose of this channel, for those of you who have Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mars, wherever, Cancer, Mercury, this one's for you. And I do tarot card spreads based upon rule to hit the good old moon. How do I know she's a Cancer? Because I can sense her. And I talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, when she's going to avoid the course, just all of those lunar shenanigans. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, never force reading on the situation, and everything will be dope, Cancer. Now, before we really jump into this thing, Cancer, I have some more exciting news. So what I like to do when we get to the main kind of points, or the main kind of points in the lunar cycle, when we get to like the first quarter, the full moon, the last quarter, and the new moon, what I'd like to do is talk about the chart and the aspects that are kind of going on in the chit-chat that's going on in the sky as these energies are happening, and through some intuitive nudges and just like general, I mean, it was just intuition the whole way through, Cancer. I managed to do something really cool here, and bam, I figured this all out by myself there, Cancer. I'm so proud. And if you've been sticking around with me for a while, you know that technology and our relationship is growing, as you can see. So I've pulled up the chart here for this new moon in hopes that maybe to add a bit more of a visual could help, maybe kind of help integrate this energy a bit more. You get more familiar with the symbols, kind of get familiar with the degree points, and that hopefully this stuff kind of sticks with you, and that it even just provides just a nice little extra kind of interest there, Cancer. You know, I figure I have my Mercury's in Leo, so I know I appreciate any kind of visual or creative kind of effects like this. So hopefully you like this. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this. And actually, Cancer, happy Moon Day. The moon is associated with Mondays, and this is a great time, Cancer, I feel like this really today, with the moon entering into Taurus, you know, this is a great day for being in tune with your body, Cancer, being in tune with the energies, being receptive to your needs, your emotional needs, your physical needs, because, and I'm going to go into more about the moon specifically in Taurus, but the moon is exalted in Taurus, so she's doing very strong here, and she's exalted. And for those of you, if you happen to know your chart, have your chart, she's specifically her point of exaltation is at 3 degrees of Taurus. If you have that, those energies, when we get into like when a planet is dignified or when it's in exaltation, it just means that the energy flows with more ease. You're able to access that more effectively. But this is, I feel, a great energy just to tend to your needs, to find some quiet time, to make sure that you're comfortable, that you are just kind of cozy. If you've been feeling cooped up, moon days are actually great for large groups. And this doesn't mean you necessarily have to partake in a large group activity. This could just be being amongst the population. Maybe this is just hopping on a public transportation and just taking a ride, just kind of observing what's going on, see what comes up for you, see just where the energies are at. You know, that's some of honestly, there are times where I'll jump on the bus sometimes and I'll just be kind of just sort of zoned out. I'll just kind of take in the surroundings, see the energies that are around, and just kind of sit around, I wonder what their zodiac sign is. I wonder what their sun blah 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 this is. And you know, just kind of thinking about those sort of things and thinking about whatever transits may be going on, where the moons are at. So this could just be a great time to just get in touch with the subconscious, get get in touch with your imagination. Maybe this Taurus is a very physical energy. This could be where we're working with nature, getting outside. This could be where you're doing, maybe cooking up some good food there, Cancer. Cooking up something rich, something hearty, something that just feeds the soul. This is a self-care day, Cancer. So if you if you can really enjoy this moon day, I feel like this again is a very rich energy. And of course it's rich because especially like when the moon is going to be entering into Taurus at 2:42 p.m. and that will be Pacific time. Now, before we get to, like I was saying, before we get to that new moon energy, the moon is going to be in that waxing crescent leading up to, she'll be officially in that new moon phase on the 7th of May, and that'll be tomorrow, depending on when you're watching this. This is coming out on the 6th of Monday, on Monday. And during that time, I feel like this is really, we're in a real kind of, we're in between like that real kind of shadow phase in the new moon. And what I like to really think about that new moon energy is now this is a time for you to to see what Luna sees when we're talking about that dark side of the moon. I feel like this is the side of her that roams the void, the canadromia, when we're thinking about the void of course energy. This is a time again to be very receptive to where the energies are trying to lead you. Trust these intuitive hits. When I did this thing with setting this whole chart stuff up, it really was, I just kind of got into a flow. I was waiting for some tea to boil and just the idea just kind of popped into me, and then a few clicks and here later it just like a whole thing kind of happened. The whole day was just, I spent listening, and there were some feelings that came up with some certain stuff, but I was like, oh, when I really thought about it, like, yeah, that actually would open up this, I would change that. And so really kind of listened again to your body with this. This is a time to relax, allow your time for some deep breathing, some self-care. Just allow yourself to reconnect with you and show yourself some compassion. Whatever, Taurus is one that is slow. It is one that it is meant to think about the bull. You know, there I'm picturing just these pastures, and it's just the sun is beaming down. The bull's skin is just getting just kissed by the sun. It's a whole thing with Taurus, and that this is a time to be in that energy over these next days, to think about what intention, let that rejuvenate you, and really find out what you want, where you want to place your values in, where you want to start building, where you want to cultivate, what areas have you neglected. Because in this taking care of your needs and yourself, that Cancer, you're building security within you. You're showing yourself that you know how much you're worth. You're treating yourself like a temple, you know, like something that's, you know, that's what I feel like Taurus is energy is trying to get you to do here. It's one that wants you to appreciate the bird sounds. I want you to appreciate the smells that you get. I still remember there was a moment where I was walking down the sidewalk and I passed like right underneath this flower, and the way that the smell got caught up in my nose, man, it was something else. It's delicious, and I loved it. And that's what I feel this energy leads to inspiration, or lead to where you want to keep this peaceful feeling growing, where you're building on a foundation of rest and relaxation, and as opposed to rush, and so take your time during this new moon energy to think about the things that came up during the Aries cycle. What are we really wanting to double down on? What are we really wanting to integrate? Because the new moon's going to be happening on a Mars day. Actually, that'll be Tuesday, and that's May 7th at about 8. And I have up here actually the dates in military time. I know some people in the military, and I've done a couple of gigs where I've worked in military time, so it was just one of those things that stuck. But that's where the new moon's going to be happening at 8:22 p.m. and again, that's going to be Pacific time. And when we get to the new moon, that is when the sun, if you see over here, I'll let you guess which one's the moon. The sun and the moon are within a certain orb of each other. I like to do, when we're talking about conjunctions, I like to do with the sun and the moon, I'll do it within 4 degrees. I feel like that's a nice healthy spot. Within the rest of them, I like to keep it within 3 degrees. But it's one of those things you play around with. Everyone works with something differently. But with this one, it happens when it's exact. And the exact, like I was saying, is going to be at 8:22 p.m. at 18 degrees and 2 minutes of Taurus. Now, the real nice thing that I like with this energy, because I like talking about with the new moons, since it's the energies are at the same point, I like talking about the Sabian symbols, the degree that those two are meeting up and having a conversation. And you can think of the Sabian symbols as like a degree theory, something that it adds an extra layer of richness to the astrology. So it's one of those things, you definitely take it as it resonates. Again, I have Mercury, I have a bunch of Leo placements, so it adds to my imagination. But the Sabian symbol for this one is phase 49 of Taurus, which is a new continent rising out of the ocean. Isn't that some lovely imagery? And the keynote for this is the surge of new potentiality after a crisis. And, with everything that may have come up during there may have been a crisis or two that may have come up during this last lunar cycle, or maybe even earlier on, and we're still maybe kind of getting caught up with that. But now I feel like what the visual that I really get from this is like a volcano, where you have this, yes, there's this eruption, there was a lot that was going on, but in that there's this really rich soil that's come up through here, that's cultivating on this land, that's building on this water here, what I really am getting with this energy is it's like we're almost working with this baptized land, because for one, here we have Saturn, who is forming a sextile with this energy. Saturn's at 17 degrees 14 minutes of Pisces. And when I think about Saturn and Taurus energy, I feel like that is, especially with Saturn and Pisces, I feel like Saturn is really supporting the dream here. He sees that you've put in the work, that you've been doing the things. And so now I feel like this is where we start seeing like green lights going, where Saturn, it's like, okay, yeah, that's the quality that I was talking about. Come on, let's take it to this next level here. This is where I feel like we get that self-worth quality of Taurus as well, where we start really kind of believing in ourselves. I feel this is a very kind of subtle energy. This is working with paying attention to your internal dialogue here, because again, you're working with, it's like where I think about that study where they had, I want to say they had 2 plants, and they had one where they had people just yelling obscenities at it, cursing it, just negative things, and they had another plant that they were just telling positive things and uplifting things. And of course, the one thrived and the other one died. And so I feel like we want to be mindful of what we're telling ourselves, because the shadow side of Saturn energy is that it can be where it gets depressed, and we get into that illusory state with Pisces. We get caught up in our heads, we get caught up in a whole visual thing, and then we escape, and then we get lost in the torrent, and then it becomes a whole thing. So I feel this is one where, yes, we're still going to need some discipline, and we're going to still need to be focused, but I feel like you start feeling less resistance here with this energy. And also one thing that I wanted to point out here, which another astrologer I was watching, Stormy Grace, I really appreciated this point of view. The energy that's going on between here, if you see here, you got Venus here that I just underlined, and then you got, hold on, let me try that again. I'm drawing with a mouse, so mind that. But you see here with this conjunction, Big Papa, this one I'm circling right now, and Venus here, the Empress. Venus is at 10 degrees here, and Big Papa's at 25, and they're it's like these energies are sandwiched between these two benefics, because in astrology, Jupiter has been looked at as the greater benefic, and Venus is the smaller benefic. So there's a lot of support within this. And then as we're also looking at this, we have Uranus in the mix. And so there's something surprising that happens. I feel like this could be something that we didn't see coming. Something that when you look at this even from like a tarot standpoint, this is the Empress, the Wheel of Fortune energy. We're working with High Priestess, we're trusting our intuition. We have the Sun card, we're following our happiness, we're seeing things clearly, and we're taking that leap, that full energy that's happening here. And even when you're, let me clear this out, when you're looking here, Jupiter and Uranus are just within exactly 3 degrees of each other to the minute. And I feel that that is very special here, that there's still that influence of these outer planets here. Like what you're starting here still has the support of that conjunction that happened not too long ago. It's like things are, whatever you put into this, I feel can blow up a lot more than I feel you realize here, Cancer. And so this is one where I feel like we want to start taking these, it's these smaller steps. I feel like this is one, again, Taurus is very methodical, very practical, getting a list down, figuring out where do you want to focus first. I know we want to do all of the things, but we gotta, I feel this is where we really want to listen to this. We want to take in the lessons from those crises that may have happened in the last one and just work smart with this. Because one thing, again, that I really like here, and check this out, we got Mars here. Mars at 5 degrees of Aries, 46 minutes. What I like about this Mars energy is that I feel that he is, it's a very mature Mars. It's a Mars that I like how he's almost like pushing this energy forward here. We got a lot of concentration here. And also too, while we're talking about Venus being in her sign where she's dignified, and that's another thing too. You see, there's a lot of strong supportive energy here. Not only is the moon exalted in Taurus, but Venus, like I was saying, is dignified in Taurus. So she's supporting this whole conjunction in a strong position. All this feminine energy is in great strength. It's such rich intuitive energy. Then you also have Mars here in his strengthened energy. And at the same time, with all this conjunction, let's add one more to the mix, because we have Mercury and Chiron that are finishing up their third conjunction. Now, this I feel has been getting us in touch with that wound, really kind of seeing our wound for what they are: gifts to get skills from, to pass on to others, to work through their things, and then to pass that on. We're here when we're thinking about the Empress and like Venus in Taurus energy. We're cultivating things that aren't just for me, but that are going to build this community wealth that we're doing here. Because we don't want to forget, over here, even though the planets are starting to leave him behind, we still have Pluto that's retrograde. He's the only planet that's retrograding right now, and I feel like we don't want to forget about the bigger picture here. I still feel like we have a lot of stuff that we're needing to kind of reflect on as a collective. And there's some things that, yes, we have individual work to do, but it's seeing how that individual work, I feel, translates to the public as well. When we all take those steps, the energies walk towards us as well. And I just feel this could really be a very beautiful energy that we're kind of swimming in right now. And then I think that's all that I want to talk about on this, Cancer. So let's switch over to this one. Thank you for your patience. Hope you enjoyed that little extra visual there. But the last thing, Cancer, of course, the moon's going to be going void, of course. They're going to be roaming the void on Mercury Day, and that'll be on a Wednesday on the 8th of May at about from 2:55 p.m. till about 4:20 p.m. She'll be moving from Taurus into Gemini. And what the void of course energy is when the moon forms her final aspect with a celestial body, and then she reflects on the memory. It's like that's when that energy starts to solidify as either as I feel a blessing or a weight. I feel like that's the time that it's integrates, where the integration process is starting to happen. And the aspect that she's forming is a sextile with Neptune. And I really like that in this energy, that she's ending this her cycle through Taurus and having been through all this supportive energy with another feminine energy, Neptune, the higher octave of Venus, the one that is guardian over this whole, the start of this new moon energy. And when we think about sextiles, it's like that energy with Saturn. These are more kind of subtle energies, but what they mean are opportunities, but we have to be able to see them. They're kind of these passive energies when we're dealing with sextiles here. And I feel when we're talking Neptune, these are more kind of subtle ones. These are ones where we need to listen to our intuition, where we need to quiet the mind to kind of go within, to need to be receptive. This is a time I feel to be creative, allow yourself to, again, just go at a very kind of slow pace as makes sense. If you can't throughout this whole new moon phase do it while the moon is in Taurus, at least if you can designate a day, if not an hour, of just like, don't bother me. This is, get a sign, Empress hours, something along those lines here. But this resonance, this tone that it ends on, I feel could be that one that could end up on a good note. If not anything else, Cancer, I feel like this could be an energy that really just kind of kicks off the month really well, kind of get you feeling good, and just something to maybe just kind of ride out, even if we're not necessarily aiming for anything right now, just something to just kind of keep the vibrations up, keep the vibrations high, maybe celebrating this in other people's win, maybe passing that inspiration along, maybe you're cruising along really well there. So something I feel something to just kind of reflect on there, Cancer. And if you're curious about how these energies are working more intimately in your chart, book a reading with me. I have the links down in the description box below and also on my Instagram page on my bio. And it can be very beneficial when you're knowing how these energies are working in your chart. For example, when the moon's going through Taurus, she's traveling through my 10th house. So now we're talking about careers. We're thinking about who I want to be. How do I want to grow on that? What is it that I need to work on? Or where do I need to be a bit more disciplined, be a bit more, just bring it a bit more there. And the interesting thing too is, when you go to look at, sometimes when you look at like the house ruler of the chart, that would go for Venus, considering that my 10th house is ruled, or is my 10th house is in Taurus, or the cusp is on Taurus. So you check that planet to see what she's doing in your chart, and that could even help you give indicators as to what you're doing. And this kind of works for me because my Venus is in the first house in Leo, so putting myself out there, forming relationships, being that big, kind of bringing that flamboyant energy, like, hey, just kind of showcasing my stuff. So when you find yourself in that flow, it feels just a lot more easier to be. You feel like just more who you are, and you really just kind of ease into your gifts. I feel a lot more acceptingly. You become more receptive to who you are. So if that's something that's resonating with you, definitely check that out, Cancer. All right, let me get some tea. Oh my goodness, Cancer. I was just so busy talking away. Let me go ahead and get your cards shuffling here, because I'm like, what am I missing? The tarot. So let's go ahead and get into this energy there, Cancer. As you can see, I'm still getting adjusted to this. I told you, we're going at a slow pace. We're going at a Taurus pace. We're taking in all of the moments. But I do hope that you are enjoying this lunar cycle, that you're getting ready to, that you have these new plans, that you're feeling hopeful, feeling optimistic, because this is, I feel, going to be a very beneficial month, especially towards the end. We got some really lovely energy with Big Papa, Jupiter, Big Papa's Jupiter, Venus, and Neptune towards the end. So, ooh, Cancer, I love that. Thank you, higher self. Cancer, here's your general energy of the day. How you have the new moon in Cancer. It's not quite in Taurus, but Taurus energy forms a sextile with our placements there, Cancer. So they get very, very opportunistic energy when we're in Taurus season. But you have the new moon in Cancer, which is the relaxed card here, Cancer. And the fact that this new moon energy is here, when because I like to switch out the decks. So I was like, yeah, this moon one feels right. And I love how we're kicking it off, Cancer. So relax. Go void a course. The void of course is an energy where we do nothing. That's where I kind of, I was even thinking about for example, when I was doing the channels, when I first started doing this stuff, I was just cranking all of the time. And I even had gotten to one point when I was like, I'm talking about syncing up with the moon. That's one thing on my vision board, is that I'm so in sync with the moon cycle. And I was just like, I talked about being so in sync, and I am, but I was just like, I'm doing more than the moon is. I'm releasing stuff every day. She's not even doing stuff every day. She spends her time in a sign for a few days. So that's where I kind of like, okay, let me relax into this a little bit more. And that's what I feel this new moon is. It's giving yourself the permission to relax, to take a break. Especially when we're talking about Taurus. We have all these, we got like what, 5 planets in Taurus when I was showing you on that chart? So this is the time to chill, to treat yourself, because you deserve it. I feel that sometimes society and I won't say for everyone, but I've talked with other people from other countries that compare to, like, let's say America, for example, that our pace is very much go, 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 very stressful, very much like, it can be where we're not sure how to take a proper break, or how to relax without feeling like there's always the need to be productive. I feel like we're almost like pushed into Virgo energy all of the time, like that shadow side, that slave driver. And I feel that this moon is to take into account what you feel, Cancer. You don't feel like doing something that day, then don't do it. And you know what I mean. I know we also have responsibilities and things too. I also I'm being mindful of that. But you have a responsibility to take care of yourself as well. What's any good of they figure like, oh, well, let me just throw some caffeine on it and that'll be fine. And that's how, I'll tell you what, I used to be over caffeinated, especially when I remember working. I had worked midnights for a spell. That was, my body was so out of whack. I was going through caffeine stuff. I burnt myself out on caffeine. It was like where I was just getting nauseous and just like jitters and just wasn't eating regularly. And so at some point the body's just like, enough is enough. Like I had to I've since then, I'll do caffeine on occasion. We have this place that we go out to where I'll get some black tea, but I don't do coffee. I can't. Like it just doesn't get me too wired up, but I don't miss that feeling. And so I feel like this is a time to just get into the things that don't feel right for you, Cancer, where you feel that where you're spent. Again, go within the body, be receptive. Taurus is very physical. Do some stretching, Cancer. See where things may be tight, where you may be holding stress. I actually just got this book not too long ago. I've been hearing a couple of people that I listen to on some podcasts and on YouTube who talk about this book, Heal Your Body by Louise Hayes. And I think that's a very useful book. I feel like it brings up some very useful things to consider when we're going through certain ailments. And, I was just actually talking with a friend who her son's in Sagittarius, and we were talking about how when you really do that really nice deep self-care, just feed that side of you that needs that just like that. Oh, just like taking that bubble bath. She was talking about like, I just got this basin where I can soak my feet, and it's got the stuff where I can massage my feet, and I got like where you saw I just cut my hair and just did like some things like that. And because I would feel stress in my hair, and I had been talking about doing it for a while. I was like, you know what? Venus hour is hot. I'm just about to do it. We're just going for it. And so that's where I feel like, Cancer, go for it. Be that cardinal sign and go towards some rest, some relaxation, because we have time. Where the energies can be so go, go, go. And let me start getting your tarot here. But the energies can be so go, go, go. But we have time, Cancer. I feel sometimes we spend so much time trying to manifest and trying to cram such things down that we don't give higher self enough time to cook up. It's like we've over flooded. If you've ever been in a restaurant where it's like you have a flood of people, so what happens? You're going to get a flood of orders to the kitchen, and then of course there's going to be longer wait time. And so I feel like it's like, instead of cramming everything at once, let's just start one thing and then kind of sit with it for a while, see how it resonates, see how it changes over time. Absolutely. Queen of Pentacles. You know what? I'm actually glad that she came out too, Cancer. Thank you, higher self. I was thinking about, I just got done using the Thoth deck, and there is, let me see if I can find her. I just got done. I'm thinking about the Queen of Disc in this deck. She is throned. Her throne is aloft this mountain, and she's looking at this empty field. And she has just a whole bunch that she's able to work with here. Oh goodness, am I going to be able to find it? You may want to fast forward through this part here, Cancer. But that's how I feel this energy is. We're working with like an open field. This is a time for opportunity. Queen of Pentacles, absolutely. Oh, here she is. The Queen of Disc. Absolutely. Thank you, herself. Oh, I was like, why is she not showing up? The Queen of Disc here. See how she's looking out at this empty field here, Cancer? That's what you're working with right now. But let me get the rest of your cards here. Yeah, I love that she popped up. I was thinking about her earlier, and I did want to mention that. So, you see, Cancer, you're bunch. Ooh. Okay. All right, Cancer. Take care of yourself. Let's see what's going on here. Interesting. Okay, so we have our girl Queen of Pentacles here, and the Three of Pentacles in reverse. Or excuse me, upright. And then you have the Four of Wands, the Ace of Wands, the Six of Pentacles, and then the Lovers in reverse. And this is Gemini energy here. And you know, Cancer, relaxation is a choice. I know that we have bills, I know we have obligations, I know we have things, but again, we also have to take into account that we need to care for the body as well. And that, I feel like, not just to remind yourself, but to remind the others that you're working with as well, because I feel that when we're more rested, when we're working from this place of I feel like when we're not forcing the energies with the Ace of Wands here, just kind of like things just, I feel, work more constructively. We're more efficient with this Three of Discs being here, and we're able to seize opportunity more effectively, kind of see the signs with the Queen of Pentacles here. And with the Queen of Pentacles, I like to talk with her as like, sometimes she's a type that maybe we need to look to people to find resources as to maybe how to relax. Maybe you're not the type that likes to sit down and just maybe sit in silence, and that's fine, Cancer. Maybe you want to do some yoga. Maybe maybe this is just slowing down when you're eating. Just like doing some mindful eating, like doing just kind of processing the texture of your food. That's one thing too. I remember when I made it a point when I got out of food and beverage, that I would scarf down food all the time and never really sat down and enjoyed meals. Oh, I take my sweet time now. You'd have thought I was in France. It was just like, it's because, like, again, we could be so rush all the time. I remember actually a conversation with someone else that they both came from big corporate worlds, and they were saying that when they did an interview and they had a lunch, they would say one of the indicators that they would test people is by how fast they ate. But if they were a slow eater, that they wouldn't work with them because that showed that they were lazy. And I was just like, wow, that's the mentality that it used to be. Though, and granted, that was let's say about 10 years ago. Things are sort of changing. But I do feel like with this Six of Pentacles here, something feels out of balance. You may not be giving to yourself as much as you could, and I love this. The Six of Pentacles, Cancer, is the Moon in Taurus. So a lot of synchronicities coming up through here, Cancer, with this new moon energy, Moon being in Taurus here. We have some decisions that are needing to be made with the Lovers here, Cancer. And again, I feel like there's, some people, I feel like we may say we don't have time to do celebration. We don't have enough money. We don't have this. There are things that you can do for cheap, Cancer, that you can do for free. When we're talking about self-care, my self-care is not expensive. I'm not saying go to a spa day. Again, I got a thing off the internet. It was like maybe $16, and it changed the game up. It made my whole nighttime routine added just an extra ritual, and in that I got inspired to do some other things for the channel. I got some other, it's relaxation is a powerful thing, and I love that this is how we're starting off. We're starting off no pressure. We're starting off chill. We're not rushing into this lunar cycle, because what's the rush? We spent the whole time rushing in Aries. This is the time to just appreciate the journey. I really like that, Cancer. And I feel like, you know what, this could be working with others to relax. with that Ace of Wands being in reverse. Not even, I like that. Just like, you know what, no, we're not doing this today. I actually was even listening to a podcast too that they were saying they have this new moon ritual where they won't do anything today. They'll minimize technology. They won't be on their phones, or like they reduce the amount of use of electricity for then they'll just do it for like the day. And it's like every new moon. And I feel like that's a really nice way of working with the energies, allowing yourself, again, to free yourself from the noise all of the time and just kind of tune into you. It's oh, absolutely. Oh, let's talk about this Cancer. Thank you yourself. All right, so here's hubby. Abundance, Cancer. I like it. You know what? So you got King of Pentacles here, the Tower, and the Six of Swords in reverse. And then you have the Eight of Wands, the Knight of Wands, and then the Seven of Pentacles upright. Now let's talk about the King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles, he's, because I think sometimes too, Cancer, we don't relax because we don't feel abundant, because we're afraid that when we're not, the mentality, when I'm not doing something, I'm not making money. But that, I feel like that's not always true. That's just the mentality that I feel has been just kind of been programmed to, just even thinking about just when I was talking about with the phones, if you had a sort of response with that, like, oh, going without a phone for a day, the phones program us to kind of do that we have to, whenever we hear a buzz or we hear someone else's phone buzz, how we automatically kind of reach for our phones, or, ignoring that kind of reaction there. That's why when I go on the bus ride, sometimes I disconnect, or when I'm out to dinner, I don't pick up my phone. Not unless we're like, if we're looking for something, that's one thing. But other than, I'm being mindful of the intention. I'm not just looking for things just to look for them, But I feel something about this King of Pentacles. I feel that something is needing to, like a mindset, I feel is needing to be changed here with the King of Pentacles and the Tower being in reverse. That we're kind of stuck here in some sort of mindset, because this is the six of swords is Mercury in Aquarius, and that can be where we get stuck, because that's fixed air, and we can get stuck on a certain idea, and that could hinder the process here. Again, I feel like you don't have to be so go with the Eight of Wands being here. Have some fun. The Knight of Wands for me is Leo energy, and this is a time to indulge your inner child, to allow yourself to do some play, to let, because I feel, look at him. He's like waiting. It's like, why aren't you growing faster? Can this abundance get here? As opposed to like just appreciating the fact that there is progress that being made. It's like, man, when I do harvest you, it's going to be fantastic. It's a matter of perspective here. But I also feel that there's just a new way that I feel the Knight of Wands is going about this energy of relaxation. Again, it doesn't have to be where we're just where we're locked up in our house, or just sitting on the couch vegging out. This could be just going outside, doing something invigorating, maybe going on a little short trip somewhere, maybe go on a picnic. I remember just seeing some people picnicking not too long ago, and I thought that was really cute. But we're moving towards a new kind of future here, Cancer, a new way of operating. And I feel this definitely collectively. And I feel with the Six of Swords here, there are certain ideas that we're going to need to leave behind that may not be conducive to the growth anymore. And I feel relaxation is a big part of that. That's going to be something that I feel is going to, hopefully, how we look at it is going to be differently. You're going to be approached differently. We're going to be more mindful with our energies here. The Tower energy is Mars. So, but again, Lover's energy, you have a choice of which direction that you're going. But I do feel like it is tuning in to is tuning into how you're feeling after you're making the decisions that you're making, Cancer, and not judging them, but just observing them. Does this get me towards my highest path? Do I feel like this is doing it for me? But let's get some advice from Venus here, Cancer, before we get out of here. All right, Cancer. Take care of yourself. Last little bit here. Oh, how funny. Interesting. All right, Cancer. So you have the Four of Swords, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Three of Wands in reverse, and then you have the So Three of Wands in reverse, and the Ten of Wands up right here. And let's switch back over. Because things are getting heavy, Cancer. Things are getting you're burning out, Cancer. We've reached the end of our ropes, and you know, where the new moon is an energy of initiations, I just feel like this is a time just to really feel it. Just to steep yourself in it, like, okay, is where I feel like I'm going, does that feel good? Do I feel inspired by this? You know, and not necessarily like by the work and the things that it's gonna take to get there, not just putting that aside. You know, like when I think about this, like how I'll look, work it all. Let me pull it back. Work it all. It's like, is this doing it for me? You know, is this something like, is this the opportunity? Oh, did I say Ace of Pentacles? Because you got Ace of Pentacles here in reverse, Cancer. I think I did say Ace of Pentacles. But, you know, I feel that when we're burnt out too, Cancer, when we're not relaxed, we miss out on opportunities. It's not that I feel like the opportunities aren't there for us. It's just that we're not able to focus on them. We're not able to see. It minimizes the roots here just because we're tired, you know. And I feel that, you know, because even thinking with that this Four of Swords in reverse, Ten of Wands is giving almost like a frazzled, a overstimulated. So just be mindful of that, Cancer. Tune into your feelings. See where we may have gotten maybe checked out a little bit, you know, too. But this, I feel, is an opportunity just to kind of recharge for a minute, just to allow yourself to catch up for a moment. Like, okay, yeah, I'm going this direction, and it's so interesting. Even though the King of Pentacles is in reverse here, I feel the Queen of Pentacles is just like, listen, I know it may be hard to relax, bae, but she's not worried. She's still upright, you know? She sees that this is just like, we need to take a moment. You got this Ace of Wands, Ace of Pentacles here too. Things are cooking. I feel like your message has been received, and you're gonna start seeing stuff, Cancer. So relax. You know, I feel like if you've done all that you can, just let the energies catch up. And I know that can be hard to trust in that divine guidance, but trust in that, Cancer. But I think I'm gonna leave that there. Something to meditate on. But if you like that, Cancer, if anything resonated with you, give it a thumbs up. And share this, Cancer, because I feel, you know, Taurus is a very important energy. You know, they're not just about stubborn or just about making money. When you're feeling your best, then that's when you start attracting the best. You know, you start attracting the things that you want in life, but you got to know what you're worth first. You know, you got to know what it is that you actually want, what feels right for you, what resonates with you, and then putting in the work to cultivate that. It's work, you know, when it comes with Taurus. Taurus is a slow moving energy. Where Taurus is at in your chart, that can be where kind of you need to be a bit patient. Like I was saying, where Taurus is at in my chart is on the 10th house cusp. So figuring out who I am, my career, as far as like that taking form, may take a little bit of time, but now that I've kind of got it locked in a bit more, now is where we're cooking here. We're starting to see some results. It has been a slow process, but I've been enjoying it. And that's why I just feel, again, a Taurus reminds us just to enjoy that slow pace sometimes in the growth. But then subscribe there, Queen of Pentacles. Hit that bell when you get notified on all these videos each day. And then last little bit there, Cancer, I'm going to start doing some, now that I'm getting this schedule worked out here, I'm going to start doing some other things on my other channel, Alchemist State, where I want to start doing more chart readings. I'm going to start doing like maybe my lunar return chart, as is going to be, the moon will be entering Gemini here on the 8th. And I think I'm going to do my, time to talk about, give you an idea what to look at when we're looking at a lunar return chart. What are some themes to focus on? What are some energies that are going to be going on for the month? Might actually, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be at where I'm going to be at, and it's going to be interesting. I have a lot of 8th house stuff that's happening, and I want to say either 9th or 7th house stuff. I gotta double check that, but I'll be doing some more chart analysis there as well, if that's something that's interesting you, or interests you, so you can kind of see that a bit more. But I also, on that other channel, I talk about the weekly aspects that are going on when they're forming exacts and how we can work with that energy. So definitely check out all that information, because it's down in the description, or it's down in the description box below there, Cancer. That's the second time that's not worked out well. We're getting there. Let me just here's the surprise card here, Cancer. You got the Three of Swords, Cancer, and that's a tough card. You know, that can be where, you know, I'm getting for some with this Three of Swords that maybe we might not want to relax, or maybe have troubles relaxing, because maybe that could put you in a space where maybe you have to deal with some things, where, you know, just keeping busy just for busy's sake, you know. And I feel like that's something you want to be mindful of, Cancer. That's where, you know, you may feel that might work out for a spell, you might be productive, but that's, you know, we got some subconscious things that are running, you know, that are running that. So if that's something that's resonated with you, if you're noticing someone who may be operating from this energy, be mindful of that, because you gotta feel it to heal it. Cancer, it's not gonna go away. It's just going to evolve, and if it doesn't, what I find with the Tower being in reverse, that's an opportunity for you to take charge. An opportunity, whether this is being relaxing or otherwise. But this opportunity for you to take charge, because otherwise, Cancer, I feel, think of yourself, I feel that it's, then we get, that's where we feel like, then we get towers upright, and then it feels like things are happening to us, you know. So just something to be mindful of, Cancer. But also, you got the 18th card here, Pisces energy, which is the Foggy Bog card, which you should be familiar with this card, but now, Cancer, is a card of patience. And, you know, I feel this combination here, Cancer. For some, I'm getting a be patient, relax. You know, we may be stressed out about something here with the Three of Swords. Maybe something didn't come through. Maybe we're not sure how we're going to get through this, Cancer. You're resourceful. There was a moment where I had gotten in a kind of a, you know, it was right around the time I kind of had initiated my own kind of tower moment, and I wasn't sure what the hell I was doing. It really was just like, it was one tower after another. It was just like lesson. I was like, I got like a crash course. It was just like work, boundaries, all this growth. And then, with a little patience, a bit of turbulence, a bit of crying, a bit of laughing, a bit of new friendships forming, new relationships rekindling. Overall, things are gravy, you know. Like, and that's why I feel like it's being patient and knowing that you got you, you know, and that other people got you too. King of Pentacles. You don't gotta do it by yourself, King of Pentacles. You have a very efficient Queen of Pentacles right there, who's willing to help you, who's willing to listen. And that may be something too. Maybe we're needing to be in a place to be more receptive, to listen, to acknowledge their fears, but also be like, you know, like, hey, like, you know, it's a lot coming up for you. It's a lot of downloads that you're processing there, and what do you want to do with that? How are we going to process this? How can we be constructive? And I feel like that's what the Queen and King of Pentacles, that conversation is. So, but things are turning the corners here, Cancer. I feel this energy is going to be very lovely. So that's all I got for you, Cancer. Stay mindful out there. You know, be present, Cancer. And know that whenever you come across this video, you are in sync with the moon. And I will catch you on the next one, Mercury Day.